to all dignitaries, tutor officials, members of the teaching profession, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first explain.
Let us pray. Almighty God, you are the beginning and the end of all things, and the source of everything that we have and everything that we are. We thank you for having allowed us to be members of the teaching profession and for entrusting to us the education of our young people. We recognize the greatness of our vocation as well as the serious responsibility placed on our shoulders. And while mindful of our own limitations, we promise you, O God, always to strive to improve our skills with which you have endowed us. Strengthen us when our ideals seem to be falling or when we tend to look at things in a negative way. Help us, O God, to be true examples in deed as well as in word to our students, and to have a special care for those whose family life is defective or non-existent. Bless our association and give to all our officers and members joy in the work of education. Help us, finally, O God, to be true friends to our fellow teachers, and grant when you call us out of this world, we may come to receive the eternal reward which you, in your infinite mercy, have prepared for us. We will now observe 1 minute of silence in remembrance of all our fallen comrades.
Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Zarisha Hackett. Assistant Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Councillor Orlando Kerr. President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Mrs. Antonia Tika de Freitas, and other national officers elected and appointed. Former Chief Secretary and our 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get-Together, Mr. Orville London. Administrator in the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Miss Shelley Trim. School Supervisor 3, Miss Sherianne Ralox Hackett, and all other school supervisors. Featured speaker, Miss Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel. Miss Eka McPhee, representative of the Trinidad Tuta districts. Chairman of the Retiree section of TUTA, Ms. Jenny Lynn Cyril, Tobago District Representative of the Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Cindy Ramnarine, President, Tobago Primary Schools Principals Association, Ms. Cindy Lord, Mr. Joseph Lindo, President of National Parent Teacher Association, Tobago Region, Tobago District Retirees 2021-2022, Mr. Ruston Wood, physiotherapist, teachers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, pleasant morning. Colleagues, comrades, I welcome us all here once again for yet another virtual hosting of the Tobago Teachers Get Together Development Day. While we yearn for the return of the physical event, we must be forever thankful to God that we have made it this far and to have such an opportunity to interface. It is indeed with a grateful heart we become clearer in thought to see the opportunities before us. Designing the future you want to live in. The education system was not perfect before the pandemic. There have also been prevailing social ills in our society, but as long as we have life, there is hope. The pandemic has presented us with the perfect opportunity to pause, reflect, reassess, and redesign. We owe it to ourselves to not miss this opportunity. There are too many shortcomings in our education system. Our children are crying out, acting out, and doubling down on failed measures is definitely not the answer. Our students need to see and feel the value of education. Our teachers also need to see and feel the value of the entire system. We must all be working towards common goals. That is how we know that we belong. Making the difference together. It is often said, instead of blaming, find a solution. I take that half and half. Leaders ought to be held accountable. Leaders ought to do better for the people they lead. It is within our right to demand better. On the other side, we are the change we have been waiting for. Each and every one of us owe it to ourselves, to our society, to step up individually, possessing the substance that will allow the eventual collaboration to truly result in a difference being made. It is amazing that both the Division of Education and TUTA share the common goal of promoting the cause of education, and there is so much perceived friction. The members that TUTA fights for are the employees of the division. We both should have high levels of care for our teachers. I say today, it is time that we forge an even stronger relationship, putting aside all personalities. There is an opportunity now that we should not let slip by. As we are in the spirit of negotiations, I want to urge our members to be optimistic. While the CPO is playing games, TUTA is quite focused on the needs of the membership. It is a process. It is not likely for the CPO to say they have a lot of money. Negotiations continue as we speak. An initial offer from the CPO has not yet been received by TUTA. Works on the market survey and the establishment of the gap to be closed continue. Further updates will be provided. As I close, I want to reiterate, it is your right to demand better, even of TUTA. The perfect place to start is within. Together, we are the change we have been waiting for. The better days that are coming depend on our actions today. Thank you. As I make way
Thank you very much, Mr. Roberts, TUTA Tobago officer. Thank you for setting the standard for this morning's proceedings. And I would also like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to be a part of today's proceedings, the 82nd annual Tobago Teachers Get Together and Award Function. I must admit feeling a sense of nostalgia as I reflected on how much TUTA and the Tobago Teachers Get Together meant to me over the 40 years that I served in the teaching profession. For me, TUTA presented a very clear and cogent voice to education and to that large body of teachers which was voiceless at that time. For me, TUTA meant a commitment to greater teacher development experiences and development, of course, an enhanced pay packet, but better yet, that sense of worth that you were shaping the human resources of our nation. And for me, the Tobago Teachers Get Together meant a deep sense of camaraderie among professionals from both sides of the Twin Island Republic, not to mention the spirited efforts of stalwarts like Evelyn James, Naomi Walters, Rosalind Moore Allen, Annette Neptune, and others who became the backbone of our Teachers Get Together, particularly the Teachers' Concerts. Those indeed were and still are glorious times. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that so many persons are assembled today on this virtual platform to celebrate this auspicious occasion, this is indicative of its importance and relevance to us all. And therefore, it is an honor for me to acknowledge the following persons whose attendance conveys their support. I would therefore like to recognize the Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett, or Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Orlando Kerr, Assistant Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology in the Tobago House of Assembly, Ms. Antonia De Freitas, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, TUTA, and other national officers elected and appointed. I'd like to recognize as well Mr. Over London, our former Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, and our 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get Together, Ms. Shelley Trim, Administrator in the Division of Education, Innovation and Energy, Mr. Braden Roberts, or TUTA's Tobago Officer, Mrs. Sherry-Ann Rollox Hackett, School Supervisor 3, and all other supervisors, Mrs. Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel, or Featured Speaker, Ms. Eka McPhee, Representative of the Trinidad TUTA Districts, Ms. Jeneline Cyril, Chairman of TUTA's Retiree Section. I recognize as well Ms. Sydney Ramnarine, Tobago District Representative of the Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Cindy Lord, President, Tobago Association or Organization of Primary Schools Principal Association, Mr. Joseph Lindo, President of the National Parent Teachers Association, Tobago Region, our treasured retirees of the Tobago District 2021 to 2022 cohort, Mr. Roston Wood, physiotherapist. Special welcome to our dedicated teachers, members of the media, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So good morning, and I bid you a warm Tobago welcome to the 2020 edition of the Tobago Teachers Get Together and Award Function, an occasion which featured a series of warm-up events culminating in today's Professional Development Day. We promise you an invigorating and motivating experience. However, before we get underway, I must share some very important information with you. First, persons are reminded to register using the link provided. Stay locked on because there are a lot of giveaways. If your name is called, you are required to send a WhatsApp message to 484-6334, giving your name for verification. That number again, 484-6334. No messages will be entertained after the segment has passed, and the link will be posted for the Know Your Tutor segment titled Know Your Tutor. And now we continue. This year's theme, as Mr. Roberts said, is a very intriguing one: designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. And today we are in good company. We are in the company of several stakeholders who have all a vested interest in education, particularly in these turbulent times when we must treat with our young charges in the midst of the disparate impacts of our pandemic. For while our teachers remain committed to providing high-quality education in a safe environment, they have had to go above and beyond the call of duty to support their students at the emotional level as well. And at this time, I'm therefore honored to invite a number of our stakeholders to bring greetings on this very special occasion. Please bear in mind that some of these presentations will be live and some pre-recorded. I'd now like to call on the following persons in the following order. And we start with Ms. Cindy Lord, President of the Tobago Organization of Primary Schools Principal Association, and she would be followed by Ms. Cindy Ramnarine, Tobago District Representative of the Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago, and she will be followed by Ms. Eka McPhee, Central Ex-Delegate. Do enjoy.
Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Zorisha A. Hackett, Assistant Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Mr. Orlando Kerr, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Antonia Tika DeFreitas, and other national officers elected and appointed, former Chief Secretary and your 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get-Together, Mr. Orville London, Administrator in the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Ms. Shelley Trim, Tobago Officer, Mr. Braden Roberts, School Supervisor 3, Ms. Sherry Ann Rollops Hackett, and all other supervisors, feature speaker, Ms. Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel, Tobago District Retirees of 2021-2022, distinguished and devoted principals and teachers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to bring warm greetings and best wishes on behalf of the Tobago Primary Schools Principals Association. The Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association has made a commitment to enhancing the lives of the teaching fraternity, which directly impacts our communities. The events which have been promoted and effectively executed speak with strong tones to your theme, designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. During the past 2 years, many of us have lost loved ones. Adjustments were made to facilitate our new socio-economic status. Tragedy and crime are no longer strangers to us. In moments of reflection, we contemplate, is this the society that I want to grow old in, that I want my children and grandchildren to be socialized by? Your theme provokes introspection and evokes the adage, it takes a village to raise a child, which essentially underscores the dire need for collective responsibility. Effort it has made to remind us of this through this forum and several other programs is noteworthy. But is indeed delighted to celebrate your achievements with you. We pledge our continued support and look forward to collaborating with you as you seek to strengthen and fortify the pillars of our society. At this juncture, it would be remiss of me if I fail to mention your chosen icon, the incomparable Mr. Orville London. The name alone causes us to sit up straight and pay attention. He has gone through the trenches and is the epitome of my school's motto: perseverance is the key to success. Mr. London, along with the other retirees, have provided and continue to provide our island with stellar service. The collective sacrifice and impact through the years go beyond just mere doing well, but into the sphere of excellence, profound respect and admiration. Special thanks to each of you on your contributions. I sincerely wish that Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association is successful 82nd annual Teachers Get Together, professional development and award celebration. And I know because of your established track record, we would be yearning for more. Have a wonderful day. Blessings.
The Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett, Assistant Secretary of the Division, Mr. Orlando Kerr, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Mrs. Antonia Tika de Freitas, former Chief Secretary and 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get Together, Mr. Orville London, our feature speaker, Ms. Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel, all officials of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, special guests, retirees, media, teachers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This morning, as the district representative, I bring greetings and best wishes on behalf of the Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago to the executive and all members of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association as you celebrate yet another milestone on the journey to excellence. Your most appropriate theme, designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together, recognizes the need for our united effort and harmonious work as we recover from the life-changing experience of this pandemic. The unfortunate focus on self, despite whatever risk it causes to others by growing numbers in our society, is approaching a destructive level that we, as teachers, must guard against in our schools. Our children's future depends on our reflection and work that seeks to achieve a common goal. We must all agree on what is this future in which we will achieve self-actualization within a happy, prosperous community that is safe for all. And we must unify our focus to design and develop it. The Association of the Principals of Public Secondary Schools supports you in achieving these goals and in making a difference together. From our association to yours, may this day be enlightening, enriching, and renewing for all teachers, young and not so young in the profession. Our association joins with you in celebrating this year's retirees, and especially as you celebrate two of our island's retired principals, Mrs. Sandra D. George and Mrs. Althea Alexander. Further, we recognize and congratulate Mr. Orville London, our former Chief Secretary and this year's iconic teacher, who was also a member of the Principals Fraternity. Congratulations, Tobago District, on your remarkable achievement of 82 years of celebrating our teachers and hosting this annual Teachers Get Together. The Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago wishes you as many and more years of continued success in your work to educate, uplift, and represent our teachers. God bless you all.
Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett, Assistant Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Mr. Orlando Kerr, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Mrs. Antonia Tika de Freitas, and all other national officers elected and appointed. Former Chief Secretary and our 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get-Together, Mr. Orville London, Administrator in the Division of Education, Innovation and Energy, Ms. Shelley Trim, Tobago Officer, Mr. Braden Roberts, School Supervisor 3, Ms. Sherry-Ann Rollocks Hackett, and all other supervisors. Featured speaker, Mrs. Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel, Chairman of the Retiree Section of TUTA, Ms. Jeneline Cyril, Tobago District Representative of the Association of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Cindy Ramnarine, President of the Tobago Primary Schools Principals Association, Ms. Cindy Lord, Mr. Joseph Lindo, President of the National Parent Teachers Association, Tobago Region, Tobago District Retirees 2021-2022, Mr. Ruston Wood, physiotherapist, colleagues in education. Good morning. It is my honor to bring greetings to you today on behalf of the Central Executive as we celebrate the 82nd anniversary of the Tobago Teachers Get-Together. In light of our ever-evolving emergence from the pandemic that held us in check for the past 2 years, this year's theme, Designing the Future We Want to Live In, Making a Difference Together, is quite apt as we consider forging a way ahead. I would like to highlight 3 things we must consider when thinking about designing our future. First, we must never forget where we have come from. There are lessons we can definitely learn from our predecessors that can inform how we plan for our future. Therefore, we must carefully consider not only the changes we would like to see, but also the successes of the past that will serve us well into the future. Secondly, we must also appreciate where we are now. We must appreciate our present successes and express gratitude for such successes. Success builds on success, and accepting that we indeed have the potential to make a difference will provide us with a strong foundation for working together to continue to make a difference. Finally, there must be some discontent. Thomas A. Edison said, "Discontent is the first necessity of progress." And that discontent, ladies and gentlemen, is what would drive us to demand better. Better wages for ourselves, better working conditions, better classrooms for students, and a better way of life. As we plan for our future, let us also ensure that we can benefit from that future. Make sure to preserve our mental and physical health. Do not overextend yourselves. Rest and reflect as needed, and you may need to do that sooner than you think. We can make that difference together. There is strength in numbers, so let us flood the streets on Sunday 19th June and show our strength. Let us display our discontent as we strive for a better future. Education professionals, I am Eka McPhee, and I thank you once again for the opportunity to bring greetings on behalf of the Central Executive, and I wish you continued blessings as we navigate the path to our future. Good day and thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies, for your continued commitment to education. At this time, we have a poem, Making a Difference, and it's by a gentleman called Lem Sisse, and he's the Chancellor of the University of Manchester. Do enjoy.
We are shaking and breaking and waking in difference. We are quaking and taking and making a difference. We are working, observing, recording, researching. We're in, we're conferring, subverting, referring. We're counting the minutes, the moments, the loss, redressing the balance, addressing the cost. We are citing and fighting. It's all in the writing. The spark is igniting. In dark we are lightning. We're breaking the brackets. The fact is the planet's in rackets and rackets of rackets in brackets. The systems, the victims, the damning, the scamming, the biased, predicting, the beating and banning. We teach through closed doors. When none listen, we hear. When heads turn away, we volunteer to relentless censors, the damned and defenseless. Our words are the action, the louder reaction. We count the cells in illness. We name the unnamed. We count the invisible. We make change. We work. We stand tall. We rise up to be counted. We work above all. We climb mountains. The skills we exchange, the breaking of chains, the actions sustained, the makers of change. We are shaking and breaking and waking in difference. We are quaking and taking and making a difference.
Thank you. And indeed, teachers do make change. I'd now like to invite the following persons to bring greetings. Mrs. Sherry Ann Rollocks Hackett, School Supervisor 3, Division of Education, Innovation and Energy, and Ms. Shelley Trim, Administrator in the Division of Education, Innovation and Energy in the Tobago House of Assembly.
Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett, Assistant Secretary, Mr. Orlando Kerr, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Antonia Tika de Freitas, and other national officers elected and appointed, former Chief Secretary and the 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get-Together, Mr. Orville London, Administrator, Division of Education, Research and Technology, Ms. Shelley Trim, Tobago Officer, Mr. Braden Roberts, Feature Speaker, Ms. Deborah Jo-Baptiste Samuel, members of the media, teachers, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good morning to all. Renowned American philosopher and educator John Dewey posited, "If we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow." That quote resonated with me as I reflected on some of the utterances and actions of critical players in education subsequent the resumption of face-to-face classes within the education sector. The return of students and teachers to the traditional classroom caused some persons to believe that it meant a return to the pre-COVID traditional classroom operations. As such, in some instances, the online Google Classrooms were literally shut down, as teachers were reminded that their job descriptions did not cover them saddling the traditional classroom setting at the same time with that of the virtual online world. There were teachers who contacted me personally, bemoaning any mandate to abandon the technological gains made during the period when we were online. My dear colleagues in education, there is no need to worry about the place of information and communication technologies, of smart technologies in the building, the crafting, and the implementation of the requisite processes, modalities, and resources needed to institutionalize or normalize the new normal that we spoke so eloquently about during the heights of the pandemic. There's absolutely no doubt education today has been transformed. Technology is here and it isn't going anywhere. Technological tools have replaced the need for pens and paper, even in the face-to-face classroom. I dare say, ladies and gentlemen, even more radical changes are on the horizon as innovative technologies continue to reshape all aspects of our lives. To ensure that we are not left behind, the onus is now on us, the workers in the engine room of education, in collaboration with all stakeholders to keep the wheels of this area of transformation turning. Each of us has a role to play in ensuring that whatever processes, systems, or structures we put in place propel us further along. Your theme, designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together, therefore brings me great joy and hope. Joy because it signals that we can all now look forward to the unwavering support of TUTA as we design a clear path that will lead us into the future of education, into a world where schooling and teaching and learning are engineered by technology. Hopefully, we will collectively embrace the creativity, the tenacity, and progressive thoughts needed to lead this march into the future, even when the road ahead may seem dim. To our teachers, the Division of Education, Research, and Technology stands ready and willing to support you in revolutionizing our education sector. The responsibility to make it happen is undoubtedly a shared one. It is David Wallach who rightly says, we need technology in every classroom and in every student and teacher's hand because it is the pen and paper of our time. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues in education, let us continue to walk this path together with a fierce determination to make a difference together. I thank you.
Mrs. Rollocks-Hackett, thank you for sharing your commitment to keeping the wheels of transformation in education turning and for being ready and willing to support teachers in this transformation. Thanks indeed. And now we have the introduction of a very important person, another very important person, once a teacher, always a teacher. And our next speaker was an educator at both the Goodwood Secondary and the Scarborough Secondary Schools. She now functions at the highest echelon of the administrative arm of education on the island. So please join me now in welcoming Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett, Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Tobago House of Assembly.
Assistant Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Councillor Orlando Kerr, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Miss Antonia De Freitas, and other national officers elected and appointed. Former Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly and our 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get Together, Mr. Orville London, Administrator in the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Miss Shelley Trim, Tobago Officer, Mr. Braden Roberts, School Supervisor 3, Mrs. Sharianne Rollox Hackett, and all other school supervisors. Feature speaker, Miss Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel, Miss Eka McPhee, representative of the Trinidad Tutor Districts, Chairman of the Retiree section of TUTA, Miss Jenny Lynn Cyril, Tobago District Representative of the Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago, Miss Cindy Ramnarine, President, Tobago Primary Schools Principals Association, Miss Cindy Lord, Mr. Joseph Lindo, President of the National Parent Teachers Association, Tobago Region, Tobago District Retirees 2021-2022, Mr. Ruston Wood, physiotherapist, my esteemed teachers, principals, and other auxiliary staff, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, good morning. It is my distinct pleasure to greet each of you on this, the 82nd anniversary of the Tobago Teachers Get Together and Award Function. After 2 years of a global pandemic, school closures, and nationwide remote instruction, the role of our teachers have never been more critical. We live in a time where the future is intrinsically unknown, and therefore designing the future you want to live in, as the theme aptly states, calls for active participation in creating a world we truly want to experience. A world where students will be adequately equipped with the skills and knowledge that will unveil their learning potential and provide varied learning experiences. US President Ronald Reagan said it best: by working together, pooling our resources, and building our strengths, we can accomplish great things. Principals and teachers, the evidence suggests that working together is a force that positively influences the successes of our schools. Collaboration, therefore, provides a safety net that helps to catapult your thinking and develop ideas that may at first seem improbable. Effective collaboration depends on good communication practices. Examples of high-impact collaboration practices include collaborative lesson planning across providers, collaboration with student support personnel, collaboration with parents and caregivers to extend the teaching and learning processes beyond the bell. Research conducted by leading educators across the globe show that team teaching positively influences student achievement. Collaboration is therefore key in striking a delicate balance between making an impact and producing quality learning experiences. The destiny of this great little island is shaped in our classrooms. It is unquestionably your responsibility as principals and teachers to contribute to the future design, function, and outcomes of our education district. As the world seeks to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, digital solutions are critical to enable economic and social transformation. A strategic focus for the Division of Education, Research, and Technology is to digitally transform the operations of the education sector in a manner that will automate existing processes and systems to better meet your needs as key stakeholders. At DIRTEC, we understand that developing our teachers is an important public policy objective, which includes recruiting and retaining effective teachers, providing initial education and continuing professional development. It also includes offering induction and mentoring when entering the profession, establishing attractive career structures, regulating working conditions, and safeguarding the attractiveness and reputation of and the social trust in the teaching profession. You can look forward to further opportunities for personal growth and development through our newly restructured Training and Awards Committee, which will facilitate special grant funding in priority areas for the development, such as special education, as we thrust towards inclusivity, the integration of technology in the classroom, and active research that will assist both accelerated and remedial students to surpass their goals. To our retired teachers, I wish to thank you for your human service in the growth and development of our education district. Your contributions have not gone unnoticed, and we applaud you for your years of dedication to this noble profession. Mr. Orville London, teacher extraordinaire, you have devoted 23 years of your life into developing the minds of generations of leaders in Tobago who continue to demonstrate strength of character, creativity, and critical thinking to continuously innovate and achieve. Thank you, there, sir, for expressing your passion, for demonstrating your persistence, and for fulfilling your purpose. To our teachers who are fathers, you are revered as positive role models to our children, and I now wish to extend a happy Father's Day to each of you. Principals, teachers, my brothers and sisters in service, let us continue onwards on this journey towards making a difference together as we aim to make Tobago the greatest little island on the planet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary, for your very positive message and your thoughts of reassurance to us all. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would at this point like to convey sincere gratitude to you and to all our stakeholders who have brought greetings and best wishes from their various organizations on this very significant occasion. And now, as I promised you, we have the first group of door prizes. Remember, I had told you to log on and be very, very mindful of what is happening here today. So we have some lucky winners, 4 of them. And we have some prizes going out to Kea Sana Hippolyte, I hope I have that name correct. Proud winner of a door prize, Gabriella Campbell-Pert, Deshel Dumas, and Laurencia Taylor Thomas. You are the lucky winners of our first group of door prizes. And remember, WhatsApp only to this number, 484-6334. That number again, 484-6334. WhatsApp only. So as our program continues, ladies and gentlemen, we now have for you a very special liturgical dance item featuring teachers, Anicia Brebner, Fiona Grant, Rhea Parrier, and Kimmery Richardson Thomas. Do enjoy.
Show me your face, fill up this space. My world needs you right now.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
I can't escape being afraid. Fill me with you right now. My world needs you right now.
Show me your face, fill up this
space. My world needs you right now. My world needs you right now. I can't escape being afraid. Fill me with you right now. My world needs you right now. Powerful down, bring with it a sound that points us to you right now. Erase substitutes right now. Fix what I see. And God, please fix me. My world needs you right now. Let us see you right now. Show me your face. Fill up this space. The world needs. My world needs you right now. My world needs you right now.
That's why I'm not ashamed to say.
Nobody like you, Jesus. Power is in the name, Jesus. Yes, I need you. That's where the power is. You have all of the authority. Only you are the great I am. You're the King of Kings. You're the Lord of Lords. That's why I call you.
Show me your face. Come fill the space. My world needs you right now. My world needs you right now.
Thank you very much, teachers, Anicia, Fiona, Ria, and Kimmery. Thank you for that very captivating item. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to another segment, and a review on teachers' health in times of COVID-19, conducted by Holguin 2021, reveals that teachers' physical, mental, and social health have been severely impacted in these times. Other studies posit that during times of stress and crisis, children observe adults' behaviors and emotions for clues on how to manage their own. It is therefore so important that teachers pay careful attention to their own health, physical, mental, and social, so that they will be able to assist their young charges in managing theirs. Today, we are indeed fortunate to have in our midst a physiotherapist, a gentleman who has been a physiotherapist for the past 8 years. He holds a BSc in physical therapy. He's also a former teacher of the Mason Hall Secondary School. And he will advise us on how to manage our health in a specific area this morning. So please welcome Mr. Roston Wood as he speaks to us on ergonomic and managing back pain. Mr. Wood.
Pleasant good morning to everyone. All protocols observed. I want to say thank you to Ms. Chanel Guy for inviting me today to present to you all on this topic. Now, technology has made our life so easy. For example, when we were younger, to acquire goods and services. So if you have to buy something to wear, long time we would have to go get into our vehicles, go to town, and go through all the stores in Tobago just to get one little piece of clothes, all right? And also food as well. Now, we have the luxury of, by the tip of our fingers, getting these things, clothes and stuff, from all over the world. And also we can just order food just by simply one phone call or clicking, all right? Technology has also allowed us to be in multiple locations at the same time. So when we were studying and we had to go to the library, we have to leave our house to go to the library. Now, we can sit in our homes and the whole library is right at the tip of our fingers. Also, when I was younger, this teachers get together function, I used to accompany my dad, mainly for the food, right? But we would all have to be in one location. And today I would have been standing, it would have been, I think, at Compre, yes, we normally hold it at Compre. So I would have been standing on a podium presenting to you all. Now, I am presenting to all of you all at the comfort of my home, but I dare not stand up, okay? Many of us have had lower back pain or is experiencing lower back pain or will have lower back pain. Let's go to the first slide. Let's go to the first slide, please. Many causes of our lower back pain is one, from a trauma, for example, an accident, or from a fall, or basically from our lifestyle. So we're going to take a look at our lifestyle today. It's just a short presentation. Many of the devices that we use on a regular basis is actually to be used for a short period of time. For example, our laptops and our phones. But because of technology, it allows us to spend long periods of time with these devices that should be used for a short period of time. That means that we would be in a static position for a long period of time. Keep that phrase in your mind. They will allow us to be in a static position for a long period of time. Now, your ergonomics, next slide, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is the study of a working condition, especially the design of the equipment and furniture in order to help people work more efficiently. Now, I was teaching for 3 years, and I am fully aware of the life of a teacher. For example, spending long hours marking papers, doing research, writing on the blackboard, and different activities in class. And now we have our famous online classes. And all these activities will allow us, or has allowed us, unfortunately, to be in a static position for a long period of time. So, as I'm coming to the close, let's look at some solutions. Let us look at our workstation. How does your workstation, you need to ask yourself, is the area that I'm working allows me to provide at my best? A simple way to know if your workstation is correct is one, ask yourself if when you're sitting, is my back fully supported? Or is the chair that I'm sitting on, is it supporting my back? Two, an easy way to know is just put your elbows at a 90-degree angle when you are sitting or standing and see if your hands is touching the top of the table that you're working on. So in sitting, and also if your knees is at 90 degrees. If not, then you need to adjust your chair or probably your table. Because if it's too low, then you have to bend, you have to do extra bending. Or if it's too high, you have to raise your shoulders, right? So these are some simple things that you could do to ensure that you are working, that your workstation is at its best. Also, again, with the phrase being in static positions for a long period of time, that means that, for example, if you are marking papers also, I know that when you are in the groove, you don't want to stop. But please, take a break. Take a little walk. Next slide. Take a little walk. Pause for a little bit, right? And do some simple stretches, all right? Now, I don't want you to just go on the internet also and just pick out any exercises to do. Please consult your local physical therapist. We are here to help you. We are here to guide you. We are there to, we can come into your workplace, assess your workplace, and recommend the appropriate exercise or the appropriate equipment to use or how to position that equipment in order to produce to give of your best. And if you look at this slide, you will see that we have a host of exercises that you could use. Exercises that you can use in lying down, exercise that you can do in sitting, and exercise that you can do in standing. So, as I close, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself, when I present, for my presentation to be effective, is there other external factors that is affecting the way in which I present? For example, the pain, my lower back pain, or just simply the arrangement of your workstation. These are certain things that we need to consider. Please, the physical therapist, we are here to assist you and here to help you. Please, let us have a talk, right? And thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And I hope that we will have a better relationship, teachers and the physical therapist, and to assist you to help deal with your lower back pain. Thank you so much, everyone.
And thank you very much, Mr. Wood. Why do I feel you are speaking directly to me? And why do I feel that you're speaking directly to so many teachers? Thank you for your valuable advice. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to acknowledge some of our specially invited guests. I wish to, at this time, recognize our past icons, all of them, past retirees, Central ex-delegates, other national officers, both appointed and elected, our industrial relations officers, or past Tobago officers. Special shout out as well to Lisa Ibrahim Joseph, Education Research Officer, Patricia Villafana, Study Circles Coordinator, Trustees Angela McAllister, Krishnaran Basau, and Komaldi Shotai. I acknowledge online the very distinguished presence as well of Mr. Peter O'Neill, our former CEO of the Ministry of Education, and I recognize as well our former Tobago officer, Claudette Governor, now principal of the Gloucester Lodge Primary School. She and her entire staff are locked down. They took the day off. So we applaud them. We thank you for joining us and hope that you are finding it very, very inspirational and motivational. So thank you very much. And as well, I'd extend this thanks to all our teachers in the sister aisle who are supporting us on this occasion. We will soon meet again physically. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, an announcement of another segment of door prizes. But let me just remind you about what went before. Some of the winners in the first segment: Kaya Siena Hippolyte, Gabriella Campbell-Pert, Deshel Dumas, and Laurencia Taylor Thomas. And we have some winners again in this segment. The winners are Stacy Fraser, Michelle Jack, and Stacy Jones Charles. And to remind you once again to WhatsApp your responses to 484-6334. Remember to give your name so that we can get the relevant information so that you will properly receive your prizes. Thank you so much. And so we continue. We are going to focus on the retirees at this point. And Sir Isaac Newton, the famous English scientist, once said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." TUTA today continues to stand on the shoulders of a host of intellectual giants, some of our major thinkers who have gone before, persons who made enormous sacrifices to ensure the birth, growth, and development of this noble association called TUTA. I'm talking about persons like Frank C. Passad, Harold Taylor, Anthony Garcia, Clyde Permel, Rennie Dumas, Trevor Oliver, Orville Carrington, Ruston Job, Peter Wilson, Alston Baker, Sally Siraram, Krishnarayan Basau, and of course our Tobago officers, Anson MacDonald, Deanne Ruthven Antwine, Peter Glenn Leslie, Claudette Governor, Orlando Kerr. To their tutor, they have been true. And today, as we pay homage to persons who have labored in the vineyard, I would like to applaud at this time one who has served TUTA well in her time and who continues to serve. I'm talking about Miss Jenny Lynn Cyril, the chairman now of the retiree section of TUTA, and I'm asking her kindly to bring greetings.
Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett. Assistant Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Mr. Orlando Kerr. President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Antonia Taker de Freitas. Other national officers elected and appointed. Former Chief Secretary and 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get Together, Mr. Orville London. Administrator in the Division of Education, Innovation and Energy, Ms. Shelley Trim. Tobago Officer, Mr. Braden Roberts. School Supervisor 3, Ms. Sherry-Ann Rollocks Hackett. Other supervisors. Feature Speaker, Ms. Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel. Representative of the Trinidad Tutor Districts, Ms. Eka McPhee. Tobago District Representative of the Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Cindy Ramnarine. President of the Tobago Organization of Primary Schools Principals Association, Ms. Cindy Lord. President of the National PTA in Tobago Region, Mr. Joseph Lindo. Tobago District Retirees 2021-2022. Physiotherapist, Mr. Ruston Wood. Teachers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the retirees, a section of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, I extend with great pleasure greetings and congratulations to the Tobago District and celebrate with you your 82nd anniversary of the Tobago Teachers Get Together 2022. Over the years, you have eagerly embraced your mission to mold and nurture the neophytes, training them in the way they should go. You continue to support, advise, and guide them as they navigate the domain of the professional educator. You celebrate your exemplars and honor them as icons. Clearly, you have been blazing the trail as evidenced in your theme, designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. You understand well that there is a need to constantly re-engineer and retool to keep up and stay ahead of trending developments and to designing for the desirable future we envision. We extend congratulations to the recently retired educators and extend an invitation to join the retirees section. We pay tribute to this year's icon, Mr. Orville London, a master educator in his own right. Congratulations and best wishes to the Tobago District as you continue to make the difference together.
Thank you very much, Jenny Lynn, for your words of encouragement, and great to see you again. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we would like to continue to convey our profound appreciation to a cadre of educators who have given human service to this profession. Today we honor 10 of them for the 2021-2022 period who have collectively served 316 years. So please sit back, relax, and give a big hip hip hooray to our retirees.
I believe that educators have the unique advantage of molding young minds and in so doing, shaping the future. We should therefore treasure this privilege and use our energies to input the good that we want to see in the next generation. At the same time, we look after our own physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. After all, at the end of the day, educators must be able to effectively view their work with satisfaction, as Ecclesiastes 11:6 expresses in agricultural terms. Sow your seed in the morning, and do not let your hand rest until the evening, for you do not know which will have success, whether this one or that one, or whether they will both do well. Insightful words that resonate from Miss Althea Alexander. Such, she leaves with us after 33 years of service. Miss Alexander moves on from Scarborough Secondary School. Miss Althea Alexander. John Dewey said that education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. I am honored that God has given me the opportunity to witness the truthfulness of this statement, and I reverence the fact that I was able to touch the lives of children and youth even for a short period of time. In my tenure, I have come to realize that all children can learn once the right techniques are applied, with one of the key ingredients to their success being love. A sentimental and lucid expression coming from Miss Diane James. Miss James moves on from Bishop's High School after 32 years of sterling service. Miss Diane James. Mr. Elvis Brown. Hardship often prepares an ordinary person for an extraordinary life. This Christopher Marcus quote is Mr. Brown's favorite, one which he has been guided by and often shared with his charges and colleagues alike in his 26 years of committed service to the field of education. As he moves on from Bethesda Government Primary School, he offers words of advice. To those who continue to toil in the vineyard, keep working assiduously and continue to persevere. Your reward will be great. Continued success to all, and may God guide your efforts. God bless. Mr. Elvis. Today, take a moment to stop and think about all the positives in your world. Focus on all that is good and right in your life. Be happy and proud of where you are and where you are going. Remember, my service is not unto man, but unto God. This salient yet profound advice from Miss Eunice Winchester Small, after giving 40 years of committed duty to the educational landscape in Tobago. Miss Small moves on from Roxborough Secondary School. Miss Eunice Winchester Small. Miss Gillian Erica Ligol has, for the past 26 years, contributed tirelessly and labored relentlessly in doing her part as an educator. Miss Ligol's latest stint was at Pembroke Anglican Primary School. As the journey of life leads her to another path, Miss Ligol says, "I will sail on the sea of ambition and land on the shore of success." Miss Gillian Erica Ligol. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the due time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. The words of Miss Jamila Amin Bacchus. She shares her personal credo with us as she moves on from Signal Hill Secondary School after offering meritorious service for the past 24 years. Miss Jamila Amin Bacchus. With grace and poise, Miss Helen Williams Johnson passionately delivered to our nation's charges for the past 42 years. As she moves on from the Pentecostal Light and Life Foundation Primary School, she reiterates that she firmly believes in being a woman of integrity, driven by a growth mindset so that she'll always be learning for understanding, and wisdom with a passion to make a difference for good in lives. Miss Helen Williams Johnson. Miss Sandra D. George. Miss Sandra D. George has committed 24 years to the teaching service. Selflessly, she would have contributed and now retires from the Roxborough Secondary School. Miss Sandra D. George leaves this message with us. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. Miss Sandra D. George. Miss Stella Rampersad. With class and commitment, Miss Stella Rampersad has devoted 41 years to the teaching profession. As she culminates her teaching career, she leaves a message for her colleagues in education. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and come to glorify your Father, which is in heaven. Miss Stella Rampersad. After 28 years of dedicated duty to impart knowledge, guide, guard, and mold, Miss Vita Dillon-Jack prepares to tread along another exciting path. As she moves on from Charlottesville Methodist Primary School, she shares her personal belief and words of advice. I believe that education is the key to success in life, and that students are our top priority in the education process. Therefore, as teachers, we must make a positive impact in the lives of every student we come into contact with. Miss Vita Dillon-Jack.
So we now ask all our retirees, our honorees, to please turn on your cameras and give us a wave so that we can applaud you virtually. And on behalf again of the organizing committee, I want to say congratulations to all our awardees. Thanks to your family and friends who have supported you all these years. We convey best wishes on the next exciting step of this journey of your life. Congratulations and work well. And now we have a response on behalf of our retirees, awardees, and the person accorded this honor is a recently retired principal of the Charlottesville Methodist Primary School after 28 years of dedicated service. Mrs. Vita Dillon Jack will speak on behalf of her colleagues.
Secretary in the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Ms. Zorisha Hackett, Assistant Secretary in the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Mr. Orlando Kerr, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Antonio Teca de Freitas, former Chief Secretary and our 2022 Icon of Tobago Teachers Get Together, Mr. Orville Lunda, Administrator in the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Ms. Shelley Trim, School Supervisor 3, Ms. Sherry-Ann Rollox Hackett and all other supervisors, TUTA Tobago Officer, Mr. Braden Roberts, feature speaker, Ms. Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel, all other invited guests, fellow retirees, fellow teachers, members of the media, good morning. I deemed it an honor and privilege to be given this opportunity to respond on behalf of the retirees of 2021-2022. I must also extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Tobago arm of TUTA for giving me this opportunity. Indeed, I am also happy to be a member of this august organization called TUTA. Today, we gather on this virtual platform to celebrate the 82nd anniversary of the Tobago Teachers Get Together under the theme, Designing the Future You Want to Live In, Making a Difference Together. This theme is quite fitting and relevant in these challenging times. As we think about the way COVID-19 has impacted our education system, as educators, we are given that opportunity to retool, relearn, rethink, reset, and rebuild in this evolving world. TUTA has continually advocated for us and supported us throughout our years of teaching. The resilience, the passion, the dedication, the hard work of this organization will eventually be rewarded. Additionally, my gratitude is also extended to the Division of Education, Research and Technology for their support over the years. May success be theirs as they continue to restructure and strategize. To all those parents who gave us the opportunity to work with their children, we are indeed grateful that we have served you. To you, my beloved teachers, I encourage you to be beacons in your school. Continue to mold and shape lives. The task at times may be overwhelming, but as teachers, you must remember your job is to teach the students you have, not the ones you would like to have, not the ones you used to have. Those you have right now must be your focus. Make your mark on the education landscape as you design the future you want to live in. My fellow retirees, For us, it is the beginning of a new chapter of our life. As we reflect on the past and what we were able to accomplish over the years, the contributions we made in the sphere of education, those lives that we would have impacted, let us be inspired by these words from Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Words from Maya Angelou. Let us move on like true soldiers in this onward journey, trusting God for what is to come. In concluding, I want to thank all of you and urge you to remain loyal and true to your tutor. May God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Vita Jack. You have represented your colleagues very well, and you continue to inspire. And of course, all the retirees, we continue to look to you for guidance. We continue to look to you as role models, and we continue to ask you to be the mentors that we know you can be to our younger teachers. Thank you so much for your service, and we continue to wish you well. And just to announce that all but 2 persons would have received their tokens by now. It is indeed a beautiful token, and we sincerely hope that you well appreciate it. Thank you so much. And now we continue to have the segment 3 of the door prizes. And I just like to recall the names of persons, because I'm asking you kindly to WhatsApp your name to 484-6334, because the chat has now been disabled. So you have to WhatsApp your responses, WhatsApp your information to 484-6334. So let me just remind you of all our winners so far. Kea Sena Hippolyte, Gabriella Campbell-Pert, Deshel Dubas, Lorenzia Taylor-Thomas, Stacy Fraser, Michelle Jack, Stacy Jones-Charles, Olmal Gordon-Holder, and Stacy Sylvester. So those are our winners. As we announce, the door prize for segment 3, and it comes in the form of a question. And the question is, name 3 past icons from the Tobago Teachers Get Together. Simple, straightforward. Name 3 past icons from the Tobago Teachers Get Together. And the first person from the Zoom platform and the first person from YouTube to submit the correct answer will be our winners. WhatsApp your response to 484-6334. And the question for the last time, name 3 past icons from the Tobago Teachers Get Together. And I will announce the winners as soon as it is presented to me. So we continue with another very special item, spoken word. And to do that, we are very happy to have in our midst the spoken word poet, and her name is Cameron Bruno. So do enjoy Cameron's presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Cameron Bruno, and I'm happy to be presenting this poem entitled Why We Are Teachers. So we get together today to think of the kind of future we want to live in, understanding that you are nurturing the ones that are nurturing it, the future that you want to live in. Look around the room. This poem is a revolution. This poem is for teachers who are in reflection, teachers with students in the room who are now teachers, who have been going to this get-together before they were even born, teachers with the best hairdo and the best shoes, teachers who've learned how to teach your students to insert task here, teach all to listen, and not just hear, because teachers were once students back in the day. And when their teachers created something like the TDTA, it's never best to keep secrets around here. Exchange of information is the greatest key to unlock the doors of the world. I've seen teachers pick up markers like paintbrushes and draw pictures of places people have never seen. And somehow they're able to teleport their students to reach any place they have never seen. I've seen teachers write recipe books and students do the edits, crafting the best dishes out of the knowledge they create. And education is more than school books, because who gave the notes in the first place? Teachers always put their students in first place, and teachers always understand the assignment, understand that they are nurturing the future, the next generation of teachers, and they understand the assignment. And once you start passing it out and make sure they pass and your colleagues pass and students pass, because no one gets left behind. No one sits in the back of the class squinting to see the chalkboard filled with notes for our future. Let them come inside and build it too, because everyone has something to contribute, something we want to see right here. There are no underdogs, never unable or at rest. You are a teacher for a reason. You are the reason for their success. So be the role model you strive to be. And work together for another 82 years. Because your students would be the teachers honoring you based on the things you did for them very soon. And the cycle will go on. And they will get together to find the solutions for the kind of future they want to live in, modeled after the present you provided for them. So be inspired to build the present and watch the future bloom.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bruno. Thank you for reminding us in a very creative way why we are teachers. Thank you very much. You certainly have a way with words. And at this time, I'm pleased to introduce another young lady who also has a way with words. I now place you in the very capable hands of Ms. Verlin John, acting principal, Delaford AC, and executive member of the district, and she will do us the honor of introducing today's feature speaker, Ms. Verlin John.
Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett, Mr. Orlando Kirk, Assistant Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, or President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Antonia Tika de Freitas, former Chief Secretary and or 2022 icon, Mr. Arthur London, or Administrator of the Division of Research, Education and Technology, Ms. Shelley Trim, or Tobago Officer, Mr. Braden Roberts, School Supervisor 3, Mrs. Sherian Rollocks Hackett, and all other supervisors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, retirees, colleagues, good morning. Deborah Jo Batiste Samuel is an attorney at law. She holds a BA honors in English literature, postgraduate diploma in international relations, and LLB honors and LEC. She has also received the Hummingbird Gold for Youth Development. An accomplishment as an accomplished writer, she earned a Nuffield Fellowship for Journalism at Wilson College, Cambridge University. Deborah served 10 years as a journalist and earned 4 journalism awards. As an attorney, she runs her own law firm. Deborah is a versatile, creative powerhouse in dramatic performance and a narrator par excellence. As a motivational speaker, she is exceptional. She has become an icon in the field of oratory. Her pioneering activity led to the formation of the Oratory Foundation, an institution dedicated to training in the oral arts, drama, public speaking, and poetry in performance. As head of the Oratory Foundation, Deborah trains children and teenagers to be fluent in oral expression, dramatic monologues, poetry writing and performance, public speaking, Shakespeare, and debating. They develop skills to talk with triumph and other leadership traits. Deborah has staged 9 Shakespeare plays to date, the most recent ones being The Tempest and The Taming of the Shrew and Twelfth Night. Deborah is the author of 14 books. The last one launched in 2020 entitled Caribbean Contemplations on Shakespeare. She has presented 26 annual oratory productions. Currently, Oratory 26, Among the Trees, is available on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak to our team, Designing the Future You Want to Live In, Making a Difference, I present to you our feature speaker, Mrs. Deborah Shaw Batiste Samuel.
A very hearty good morning to you all. It is indeed an honor, privilege, and a joy to be here to share with you on this occasion as you celebrate 82 years. The idea of your theme was quite phenomenal. Designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. I want to commend the sterling efforts of all teachers, of all principals, especially at this time. We have come through 2 challenging years and we continue to shape our future. I commend the efforts of teachers and principals because I want you to know that it is not going to go unnoticed. It is to be a salute. Salute you and you become worthy of salutation. All those receiving awards today, retirees and those who are moving on, I want to commend you and congratulate you because it is making you worthy of salutation. Ms. Zorisha Hackett, Mr. Orlando Kerr, Miss Antonia Teca de Freitas, Mr. Orville London, Miss Shelley Trim, Mr. Braden Roberts, Miss Sherry Ann Rollocks Hackett, Miss Eka McPhee, Miss Cindy Ramnarine, Miss Cindy Lord, Mr. Joseph Lindo, Mr. Roston Wood, Miss Jenny Lynn Cyril, members of the media, all distinguished guests, friends, teachers, administrators. This is quite an event you have organized today, and I feel honored to be part of it. Designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. I have broken your topic into 6 segments. I have not added or taken away. The 6 segments are designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. These 6 segments are worthy of your theme because they comprise in totality what you have chosen for today's focus discussion. So I go to designing. That's the first word. And that is a theme in itself. Design, building boldly, bolstering the beauty of learning. Design, a plan, a template, a shape and a construct, a manifestation and function. Building boldly. That is what you're about in education. Designing foundation. We begin with that. The pillars and posts, because you now have to dig deeper. Your prayer and your spiritual base is imperative. Now more than ever. Designing, pioneer activity, original learning strategies, creative, innovative solutions. Designing, style, invent, create, originate, adorn, indigenous aspects become quite modern. Designing, function and purpose, aim, being faithful to the ideal, implementing effective learning. Designing your signature, that personal mark and identifying symbol. All of this is involved in the very first word of your theme today, designing. I am going to encourage you now to embrace the concept of design. Design is intelligence that has been made visible. Design is information that has become formative. Design is bringing out all of that is marvelous in the mind and making it manifest all the time. Maya Angelou says, you cannot use up creativity, you know. The more you use it, the more you have. As designing becomes at the fore, understand that design creates culture, culture shapes value, and value determines the future. A teacher once said, design is the intermediary between information and understanding. So designing, it makes you active, building boldly, bolstering the beauty of learning. And that is something to be extremely excited about right about now. Because you have what is called unique opportunity. This opportunity, let me tell you, for those in education will not come again. This is what you call the launching place for future education always. You are involved in pioneering activity now as you find yourself as educators, as we take education and elevate it to a new dispensation. We are moving now from just understanding to designing, because this opportunity in time, 2022, shall not come again. Not with 2020 and 21 just behind us, and 23 to 25 directly ahead of us. We are going for gold. We are bringing the treasure to the fore. The designing in the education paradigm depends on you. What you do today is going to be what is lived tomorrow. God are those days where there is no reliance on what went 10 years ago, because you have the opportunity to build boldly. And building boldly means there's a foundation that you have to ensure. Your spiritual base is going to keep you solid as it has never done before. If you never prayed before, let me tell you, start today. You will need it as you build, as you design a future you want to live in. That spiritual base, pillars and posts are forged in that. And so your foundation is going to affect what you construct. And you're designing. Things are changing. You cannot rely on what you learned when you were being trained as a teacher how many years ago. You cannot rely on that only. That must feature. But now you are creating, you are designing afresh based on information and reality that is facing you. The pillars and the posts dig deeper. I often share what happened to me with a student in one of my classes because I too am a teacher involved in education at the Oratory Foundation. I am teaching children and teenagers, just like you. But I am not doing the gamut, the wealth of subjects that you are so privileged to do. I am restricting myself to teaching the writing of poetry, and I'm teaching performance, and I'm teaching theater arts. So I had the encounter one day, not so long ago, with a student who I asked the little ones, I say, you know, give me an animal beginning with the letter P. And of course, hands around the room are going up. I see this boy in front of me, but he does not lift his hand to volunteer response. So I pay attention to those who never volunteer response willingly. And I am to draw the treasure out of them. Let me tell you, teachers and principals, every child within your embrace, within your reach, that child has treasure inside. So students are giving me names of animals beginning with P, so they are shouting across the class, you know. I'm getting all sorts of animals. I even managed to get platypus out of these little ones. But this little boy who does not raise his hand at all, I go directly to him. I said, yes, my son. And this little boy just delivers what is basic. It is actually incorrect, but he thinks it is basic. He says, as his contribution, bottom. So you see, I have to dig deeper. Yeah, because bottom is a dog, and dog is not an animal beginning with P. But let us move that out of the way. Let me work with what the student has presented. So I zero in on him. I said, yes, my son, I hear you with bottom. But I'm not accepting that because I know inside of your mind, there is something rich. I know inside of your mind, you can think and create and give me. Dig deep, my son. Give me an animal beginning with P. Now, my teaching strategy had to change immediately. It was not just throwing a question out and anticipating a response. Now I had to excavate. Now I had to extract, because I too had to dig deeper to draw out from him something that was better than he offered. So I had to work with him. And I did. I had to extract from him something more. I looked in his eyes. Eye contact. I gave him my assurance that I believed he could deliver something better. And that my confidence in his ability was unshaken. And because he was drawing from me, I could see in his eyes that he started to think deeply. An animal beginning with P. And this little boy came up, straightened up. I tell you, the posture changed. That began with P too. The pronunciation in his words changed. That began with P too. The purpose for him being there suddenly became on fire, and that begins with P2. And out from inside of him suddenly bellowed, Miss Peacock. My God. Right there. The same brain that will give you potong, that is the same brain that has peacock as a response. Oh Lord, well, I had to get the whole class to clap now. It was applause lustily, students. He now is at the center of salutation. He is gaining applause now. He is suddenly in the spotlight of serenade because he said, peacock. Now that was inside him all the time, you know. But we have to design something to draw out treasure in children. Yes? That I did not inject him with anything. I did not put an idea into him. All I did was draw out what he already had inside of him. There was no time for him to run home and ask a parent to give him another answer. He had to do it on the spot right there with me believing that there is something better. When I say we have to be designing, it is in every encounter. So move from just that one student now to thinking about how we are designing and building boldly to change and renovate the building of education. Because that is what your theme is. Your theme is designing a future you want to live in. It is a future with an expected end. It is a future of hope. It is a future of success. It is a future of excellence. It is a future of triumph. It is a future that you had an opportunity to redesign and put in place. So you are building boldly. This plan and template that you shape and construct, it is for a manifestation and a function. It is for new learning. You are putting in original learning strategies and creative, innovative solutions. You are a pioneer. Any teacher in 2022 has to be applauded for all that you have to do requires pioneering activity. We have not gone this way before. It is to boldly go where no teacher has ever gone before. That is the activity that is to excite you beyond the compare, because you are now creating a style of teaching, original invention and indigenous creation that is modern but is drawing on all of that you know. Indigenous items such as storytelling takes on a magnificent new dispensation when attached to the technological information and innovation. Storytelling. You using that in teaching, and now you have the technology to assist you. It is the function and purpose and aim of education that you are implementing effective learning. You are maintaining your faithfulness to the ideal. It is such a glorious occupation to be involved in education. You are actually a builder. So as you are building, there are windows. These are the portals to technology. You need to open the windows. In fact, you are to design windows that are deep and wide, not louvers. They shall not work now. You need in this building of this educational design to have windows that are deep and wide, because they are providing the portals for technology to come in and to go out. The windows, the doors in this building of education provide the new pathways, the new opportunities. Open them. Do not design lovely doors and have them locked. Open the doors. Let the windows be the exchange of information through technology. The technology is something that will be used to ventilate the entire building of education. This education building that you are designing must be properly ventilated. And the windows do that. The technology will do that for you. Embrace it. Embrace it now. We are meeting like this due to technology. I am in Trinidad talking to you, and you can see and you can hear me. These are portals to technology that we must embrace. We must expand and must feature very prominently in any design in an education. The doors are the new paths and opportunities that will lead to new success. This education building that you are designing must have a veranda so that you can showcase the learning. You can display the learning. It is the gallery to the world as you embrace the new. Others shall be passing and watching as the veranda displays the new learning, the new teaching. It is the gallery to the world, not just the community. The learning now, the teaching now is to the world, not just the community. So it is less about teaching a text and more about contextual skills to solve complex problems and to have success at examinations and to ensure that children can in fact read. The technology does not remove that basic need. And we have to design ways to get those to have all the skills. Each of us as a builder, each of us is carving a stone or erecting a column or cutting a piece of stained glass in the construction of something much bigger than ourselves. This pioneering activity that you are doing now in 2022, because you have no choice, it is what you have to do. It is for something much bigger than yourself. And this is why you have to engage it in such an exciting and manner with fervor and fire. As a teacher, principal, administrator, educator, you are a builder. You are designing the future for yourself and for your professional development as a person. So as a leader, you are. As a teacher, you are a builder. You have to live that role. You have to listen. You have to learn. You have to labor. You have to light the way. This is what you must embrace. Listen and learn and labor and light and enlighten. Be luminous, shed light, be an example. Leap into action, look forward, have vision for the future. Lift others up, boost self-esteem and confidence. Praise others for good work. Encourage teachers. Teachers must encourage teachers. Teachers must encourage students, but teachers must also encourage teachers. Boost the self-esteem of another teacher. Fill that person with confidence. Praise their effort and good work when you see it. Encourage them. That's how you lift others. Liven, make it lively, stimulate. Have language that is lucid and elevating. Be loyal to this profession because it is one of the most noble ones that exists. You have to be in a sort of league of togetherness as you launch out to be a pioneer. You have to log in to God. You know, to get anywhere with the technology now, you have to log in. If I did not log in to this meeting, you would not be hearing me now. I have to do something. I have to log in. I want all of you to understand you have to log in to something. You have to log in to this designing of an education that is different and new. You have to log in. You have to get in tune with what is going on. And it is not enough for the device to be on. You can have the device on, but if you do not log in, You do not tap into the power for you to connect. So I want to challenge you to log in. This is the technological age in which we live. You have to log in and be in tune. You have to love this profession. You have to be a builder. And a builder is one who is carrying out a design. So you have the opportunity to be designing. You have windows that are deep and wide and doors that offer new paths and opportunities, and a veranda that makes what you do, presents it as a gallery to the world. You have to put space in this design that allows you to have room for rest and reflection. This is your building, your design. You have to have space and room, a place to eat and concentrate on nutrition. For if you do not eat well, you have poor nutrition, you cannot deliver strong. You cannot give robust rendition. You have to strengthen yourself physically and spiritually. So you have to have a design that allows you to have a space and a room for nutrition at a metaphorical level and a physical level, because there needs to be a study. There needs to be a study space in that design where you can re-equip, where you can research, where you can upgrade, where you can renovate. There has to be a room in that design space for recreation, for creativity, for exercise. Maya Angelou is the one who said that creativity does not disappear. You cannot use up creativity. It is like the pitch lake in La Brea in Trinidad. The more you extract the asphalt, the pure pitch, the more it produces. So you don't tire doing creative things in education. Maya Angelou said the more you use it, the more you have. And Maya Angelou is a perfect person to say that, because she got where she is because of a teacher, let me tell you. Maya Angelou would not be known to us today were it not for the efforts of a teacher. You see, the computer, the technology can share information. The computer may even venture boldly to say that the computer can teach. But it's only the teacher can reach. It is only the teacher who can engage. It is only the teacher who can draw a treasure out. The computer cannot do that. So you are always working with the technology. I was telling you, Maya Angelou can credit where she is today as an, or where she was, she's deceased, as an author and a poet and all of that because of a teacher. Maya Angelou, you see, as a young girl, as a child, was abused. Physical, sexual abuse. And Maya Angelou as a child shut down. Do you have students in your class who have shut down? Or is it that the students are not even in your class because they stopped coming back to school? They shut down. Maya Angelou the Great was, as a child, a student who shut down. Maya Angelou stopped speaking. She was what you call a volunteer mute. She can speak and chose not to. Maya Angelou as a child shut down. It was a teacher. They couldn't get her to speak at home. She shut down. That's how she coped with the fact that she was dealing with this horrendous, hideous abuse. And then when she spoke the name of the abuser, he was found dead. She decided she shall no longer speak. And she was going on for years like that, going to school and not speaking. What happened to the teachers she had in her earlier years? They just let her sit there shut down. But this one teacher said no, not at all. She would not have it so. What that teacher did is she redesigned how she was going to reach this child. That's what the teacher did. So the teacher knew she loved to read. You have to know how to reach. And the teacher reached. You have to know how to extract. The teacher started to give her books because Maya Angelou was an avid reader. She was not speaking, but her language skills would be up in her writing and her reading. But don't ask her to say a word. She's not doing that. A teacher changed that. Maya Angelou speaks. You know her to be a civil rights activist, a very vocal poet. She speaks now because a teacher redesigned when she was a child. The teacher said, no, you're not leaving my class like this. The teacher could have done what the other teachers before did. Nothing. She write in there, say good. Nothing. I not working there, send me here to get child to talk. Yeah, but this teacher did it. This teacher got Maya Angelou to speak by redesigning. She was redesigning the future she wanted to live in, where children have an opportunity to excel and not just exist. So she gave her books to read, but she couldn't get more books to read until she told her about what books she had already read. Oh yes, you would find a way. So Maya Angelou was reading these fantastic books and wanting more. And the teacher said, beautiful. Now tell me about that book. Tell me what you learned in this book. Tell me. And when Maya Angelou began to speak, only the teacher knew. You are so privileged as teachers to bring such treasure to the fore. So you are builders, like Maya Angelou says, and you have so much creativity as you are designing this future. And this is for your personal self as well as your professional development. You are designing a future you want to live in where students bring out, they excel rather than merely exist. It is a new learning. It is a new sharing. The transformation. It is a change. It is a renovation. It is a vision. You are designing the future. Vision and precision. Without vision, the people will perish. Without vision, all your students will not make it. There must be vision. And there must be precision in implementing the vision, not just for tomorrow, but with generations in mind. I always say, if you are teaching about the tree, know the forest. Because you have to design, not just for tomorrow, but with generations in mind. As trees grow and they produce fruit, inside that fruit there's a seed. And if you plant that seed, another tree will grow. You are in an opportunity setting to design for the future. It will be your legacy. Going ahead in years, you have the opportunity, if just for vanity, to get your name in the book. Because I am telling you, it will be recorded in your school's history what teacher so-and-so did in 2022 that we are still using now in 2028, in 2030. It is a utopian ideal to have a desired future. Although I hear you having a jazz concert called Utopia over there in Tobago weekend. I'm talking about a different utopia. I'm talking about a desired future, which remains an ideal and you may never reach, but you can aspire to achieve. And not dystopia with suffering and hindrance to learning, but utopia as the future ideal. And it is what you want. Tremendous triumph. It is your desire. It is your aspiration. It is your yearning for. It is your hope towards. You are creating. You are doing design paradigms. You are doing learning enhancement, and you are doing it, and your name will be recorded for it. Now with this technology, you know, we can bring students, lecturers from other countries in the classroom. You can have a Caribbean day one day in your school and nobody even left the compound. You have people from all the Caribbean countries coming in with the technology to make a Caribbean day possible for creativity and ideas and solutions and enhancement so there can be proper sharing. It is really tremendous activity in time and in tune with your reality. Tremendous triumph. I can tell you what you want is going to push you. I can tell you about Wilma Rudolph. You see, the storytelling paradigm still holds for teachers. Wilma Rudolph was the first to win gold, the first woman to win gold for America in Olympics. So you are assuming, as I say that she was some star class runner as a child, and then she grew into it. Not at all. Tremendous triumph. You see, designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. Wilma Rudolph was a child who was ill, and she had polio and scarlet fever. She had meningitis. She had a rough ride. And so she had things that were hindrance to her growth. I don't know if that's you. You mightn't have physical illness, but something may be hindering progress. And as an organization, things will hinder progress. And it is, what do you do when you are faced with a hindrance, an obstacle? Wilma Rudolph sets an example, because at age 6, she was told by the doctors that she will not walk. She'd have to use this brace. There will be limited progress. She would never walk. That's what the professionals thought. This is the same person I'm speaking of. Wilma Rudolph says, my doctor told me I would never walk again, but my mother told me I would. And I believed my mother. Today, teachers, is who you choose to believe. When you have a hindrance or an obstacle or a challenge, even a disability, what you choose to do depends on what you choose to believe. Because Wilma Rudolph could have said, well, okay, I'll just use this brace that they make for me and I'll manage. My progress will be slow, but not Wilma Rudolph. No, she had a mother who was a teacher. Her mother says, you will walk. And what they did together, as your theme, you know, a future you want to live in. Wilma Rudolph wanted a future where she could walk and run. That's the future she wanted to live in, and she would be now designing. Everybody in that house was designing. The mother was designing, the father was designing, the brothers and sisters, they were designing. How they did it, they had a strategy, they had a plan. Hear it. We would take turns and work shift and massage those legs. We would massage Wilma's legs. We would help her to stand tall. We would help her to make step after step. And we would take turns. They had a timetable. They had a roster in that house. That's how they did it together, making a difference for one child. That child was Wilma Rudolph. By age 9, she's still walking in brace. You see how much diligence they had. But by age 11, she started stepping without the brace. Bigger brothers playing basketball, urge and encourage her. Come play. Basketball, I say, big brother throwing her down, she getting up on those same weak legs. By the time she was in school playing basketball for the girls' basketball team in her school, a coach discovered her, and hear what he discovered. He found her legs had tremendous speed. Her legs had tremendous speed. Her mother as her teacher, brothers and sisters taking turns in a timetable massaging legs, because they are designing a future that they want to live in, one where their sister could walk and run. Well, the coach took her from basketball to running, athletics, because she had speed. That coach does not know at age 6 this child could not walk. You see, there's a plan, there's a design. Needless to say, the end of that, she was representing America, and in Rome, won gold. Well, that may seem so awesome to you, but I tell you, it's tremendous triumph if you're designing a future you want to live in and you're making a difference together. And so Wilma Rudolph is known now, gold medal and thing, running, who could not even make progress to walk. So bit by bit, you as an educator can make progress if you design it right, put a plan and a template, make a timetable, work with it, do what has to be done daily, and you will see progress. Oh yes, Mother, brothers, and sisters applauding now because they designed a future they wanted to live in and they made a difference together. To live in? Oh, how you want to reside, a permanent purpose, to live and breathe and have life more abundantly, to live in, making a difference, change, alteration, transformation, renovation. That's what happens to this design building. Development, distinction, modification. That's what happens when you make a difference. You become creative leaders, innovators of education, develop dynamic designs. Jareem Richards, who is winning at his sport, he's doing very well. The same Jareem Richards had some hindrance some years ago, if you remember. Another runner was trying to edge him out from getting to the finishing line and run and say he won the race, and Jareem Richards looked on. Oh boy, there needs to be such professionalism as we encounter challenge. Educators, it was not a Jareem Richards bawling and cussing and crying and carrying on. Jareem Richards looked on, standing strong as a professional, knowing he was the one who would have victory in the long run. It wasn't long. The organizers said, that bully there, kick him out of the race. Disqualify him, and Jareem Richards, you will get your gold medal here today. There needs to be a maturity, a professionalism in how we handle problems and even unfair situations. Because that was an unfair situation. This fella just bully him out of space and running away, say he get gold medal. Jareem Richards is still running and getting gold medals. He did that up to last month. He was getting gold medals in I can't remember the country now. He just did it, and in May, and he come first, and USA second, and Sweden third. He is breaking records. Why? Because he has professional development. He is learning as he goes along. Let it be that we learn as we go along. Let it be that we don't make the same mistakes. Let it be that people can look back and say, you know, they tried to edge him or her out before, but look at how she's a champion now. Oh yes, personal power, conduct education, and shape inspiration. And finally, together. Now that is one word that I often, as a child, the way I learned to spell together was to get her. I had my ways to remember how to spell words. And that's how I would spell together. So together is a word I will always know how to spell because it is to get her. But it means is three words that are joined together. Three words coming together in unison, side by side, one with another in one accord. And together, it spells together. So, how do we do it together? It's very important. Because when we work together, each emerges stronger. The organization is stronger, and the individuals within, each one comes out stronger. In common action toward a goal, a combined effort, using individual talent and strength for the group's benefit. Find out the strengths and talents and use it together so the entire organization, the entire body will benefit. Education will be better off when the talents and gifts of each come together. Sesame Street teaches that. Sesame Street had a song, when one sings alone, then we all can see. One alone is a fine melody, but when two sing together, then the music is better. Two sing together, then we both agree, but three all at once makes a much better bunch. Three all at once makes a band, you see. So you come along and we'll sing a song all together now. It's 1, 2, 3. We learned that in Sesame Street. So we have to know that as we teach. Barack Obama says the future belongs to young people with an education and an imagination to create. A change is brought about because ordinary people do extraordinary things. So how are you going? Barack Obama says that, and he did that. He designed a future he wanted to live in, making a difference together, because he told the whole country, you have ability and gifts to change the world. Yes, we can. We can do it together. This is Barack Obama, a left-handed fella who was teased in school because he had a strange name, Barack, take two tap for that. Then he was left-handed, like we say in Trinidad, left-hand crab, where you're writing with your left hand and you're twisting all around that whole arm from the elbow to write on a flat page in front of you. That was Barack Obama, the president. He said, the time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to choose our better history, designing the future you want to live in and making a difference together. Finally, I want you to know that it will be your signature work. This 2022, educators, for yourself, for the organization, for the good of education, it is your signature work, what you design today, what you form by your own hands and minds, what you produce from and about yourself. It will be a marker of identity to you, because a signature work identifies the person who created it. Your name will linger in the school that you are in for good. You are permanently affixed as a unique, undeniable contribution. Evidence and witness of certification. It is an identifier marker. It will distinguish you. So let excellence be your signature. Make it a personal pledge. This morning, educators, teachers, you're not here to cope with pandemic. No. You had that wrong. You get no marks for that. You are not here to cope with pandemic. You are here to conquer every challenge, because more will come. Pandemic going, gone. Something else will come. You are not to cope, but you are to conquer. You are not to exist. You are to excel. This morning, I close. You are designing the future you want to live in, and you are making that difference together. I bless you all. Thank you now.
Mrs. Deborah Jean-Baptiste, our feature speaker. What can I say? But let me first mention, the passion and the energy of your presentation, and also the wide scope of your reference. I want to say thanks, because I cannot do justice to what you have just said. But I just want to say thank you for your pearls of wisdom, or rather I should say really that avalanche of architectural wisdom so carefully constructed so that you would motivate teachers to engage in the building process. Thank you again for inspiring our teachers to want to build boldly, to design innovatively, and I love it, to dig deep spiritually, so that together we can realize a future of excellence. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I always wanted to listen to you, as a matter of fact. So thank you for giving me that opportunity to, share in your, in your intellect on this occasion. Thank you so much. Thank you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we want to open the floor for just about 5 minutes so that you can post your questions, and we will have an interaction for about 5 minutes with her. So please raise your hands if you wanna contribute, if you wanna ask a question, if you wanna share perspective. So we just have an interactive session at this point. Thank you. And so we open for business. No questions. Is that the hallmark of a superb teacher, that there are no questions? going. Okay, so you know what? If you have questions, put it on the chat or you can place it on your evaluation forms. Okay? And at this point, I just wanted to, one more time, to share the door prizes and to ask persons to please communicate with us so that we do not go home with your prizes. So Kea Sena Hippolyte, Gabriella Campbell-Pert, Deshel Dumas, Laurencia Taylor-Thomas, Stacy Fraser, Michelle Jack, Stacy Jones-Charles, Almal Gordon-Holder, Stacy Sylvester, Lisa Mendoza, and Miss Sayandine Blackman-Walsh. Okay, those are the winners, and we are going to get your Know Your Tutor winners in a short while. So just remember to post to the chat. So ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the 2022 icon of the Tobago Teachers Get Together. A gentleman who was an educator par excellence and also one who occupied the highest office in the Tobago House of Assembly for several years. I now have the honor and the privilege to present the Honorable Orville D. London.
Went up to Signal Hill. Well, at the gate, we shouted out, Orville! 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 No response. One of the boys, he named Baboy. Baboy said, Chief Secretary! The door flew open. The door flew open. And it was drinks. Well, the rest is not for this interview. I think I should congratulate the tutor organizers for choosing such an exemplar to be their icon this year.
I have had the privilege of serving under Mr. London as principal of Signal Hill Secondary Comprehensive. And I think the thing that impressed me most about Mr. London is the fact that upon arrival at Signal Hill, he set out to establish a presence. Mr. London walked the corridors of Signal Hill Secondary School when it is in progress as no one else that I ever seen. Apart from this, he was present with his staff. He was very approachable. His door was always open. And of course, one of the things that distinguished him again, he would venture into the staff room on the lunch table with staff and engage in the discussion that took place.
Orville London was born in Palatuvere, but he grew up in Wim, a little district in Tobago. He went to the Wim Elementary Primary School. His father was the principal of that school. As a result, Orville did not know how to play. He had to be taught how to play even little games like marbles. It was book, book, book down the roads with that little chap. The father, I believe, was insisting that he wouldn't have to pay for his schooling secondary. But it worked out well for him. In primary school, I remember well, he was skipped from standard 1 to standard 3.
It was during his term as principal that we saw our first national scholarship winner, the first of it for coming out of a Tobago school when Mr. Merson Bartlett won in 1990, National Open Scholarship, Business Studies. Shortly after that, we had additional scholarships, a couple more.
He was also a bookworm. From an early age, as 8 years old, his father started preparing him for what we had in those days called college exhibition, 11 plus. And Orville was being tutored for that from as early as 8 years old. He went into Bishop's High School before he was 11 years old.
You see that fact that I mentioned that, you know, he would come to the staff room because there was always a healthy discussion on the lunch table in the staff room. Just the fact that he would come and join in that like nobody else did before, no other principal did before that I am aware of.
His father organized a group called AYPA, All Young People's Association. That group was responsible for developing people socially, educationally, physically, economically, and they even did sports. Orville was the leader of that group. In the sporting field, the man was a good cricketer. I said the man. I mean that little fellow at that stage. He was the captain and manager of that cricket team, that same AYPA. His father, to me, I am not sure if his father knew that he was developing him for leadership roles later on in life. But little did he know what he was doing there. Orville would have ended up being number one. The principal of one of the largest elementary schools in Tobago, Signal Hill Senior Comprehensive School. He was a councillor in the Senate. He was the longest serving Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. And after retiring from that post, he was the High Commissioner for Trinidad and Tobago to the United Kingdom. And if that was not all, he was given one of the highest honors from the country, the Shakonia Gold Medal. In spite of all the above, he continued to be a very sociable, people's person.
Part of his mantra was also inclusion, because after the Executive Council meeting every week, the assistant secretaries who were not part of the Executive Council would come and join us, and we will have a meeting of all the minds of the assembly personnel. And of course, everyone had the opportunity to speak freely, and issues that were relevant to the management of the assembly and by extension the island, issues that were relevant, they were all put on the table. Everybody had the opportunity, and even the opportunity was given to the assistant secretaries. Matters even that came out of the decision making of the Executive Council that affected them in their performance, they would have first-hand knowledge of it.
He was a good listener. Most people who could not get him in his office would catch him when he goes to the market on Saturdays, and they would release some of their problems on him. Obviously, some of the demands would be reasonable and some would be unreasonable. We know ourselves. But Orville, if he did not help most of them, and I'm talking about the doable demands, he would have satisfied most of their expectations.
One of the first things that Mr. London did when he became Chief Secretary was to establish a public day. At Friday morning public day that gave everyone who wanted to see him an opportunity without appointment. And I am aware, because one of the first positions I held at the Assembly was as his executive assistant in the office of the Chief Secretary, and therefore I was there on those mornings, and I have seen many days when he would work even up to and sometimes beyond 2 o'clock in the afternoon to ensure that everybody who made the effort to come and waited to see him, that everyone who came was seen. I doubt that he would have turned back anyone at any time.
He had a high sense of humor. And after he won the first Chief Secretary's, when he became Chief Secretary, when he won the election, the same group of boys, the regulars, decided, well, listen, we should be the first to go and congratulate this man and take a drink. So we decided, let's go on board him early. We went up to Signal Hill. Well, at the gate, we shouted out, Orville! 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 No response. One of the boys, he named Baboy. Baboy said, Chief Secretary! The door flew open. The door flew open. And it was drinks. Well, the rest is not for this interview.
One of the things that he always reminded us of, and he preached it and he lived it, that is about the concept of being a servant leader. You know, he preached that and he lived it. And so that he would have been always very approachable, very accessible, and of course, he always was a good listener.
He has a very quiet disposition, anxious to listen to people's problems as well as people's progress, and encourage all those who might pass within his scope of association. I think I can safely close by saying that Orville London is one exemplar that most young fellows growing up in Tobago can follow as a role model.
That brief presentation. And now we have an actual presentation of a token to our icon. And this presentation will be done by Ms. Carol Percy, who is his niece, and Carol is also a member of the teaching fraternity. And this, of course, will be followed by a response from our icon.
On behalf of teachers in Tobago, on behalf of young people, on behalf of all of Tobago, we'd like to thank you for your service, not just to teachers, but to all of Tobago.
Thank you very much, and I will always be proud to be a teacher and proud to be a member of TUTA. Congratulations to TUTA and keep up the good work. Thank you all very much.
Greetings to all dignitaries, TUTA officials, members of the teaching profession, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first express my gratitude for the signal honor which has been bestowed on me today. I would also like to thank my esteemed colleagues for their generous tributes. I must admit that this one is extra special, coming as it is from my peers and an organization with which I have had a long and fruitful association. I remember those early difficult days and the challenges that we experienced to organize and finance some of our activities. I recall one occasion where, after a dispute with the parent body, the members of that core group in Tobago TUTA had to dip into their rather shallow pockets in order to host a teachers get-together in an environment where the integrity and autonomy of the organization had to be protected. The Tobago arm of TUTA has come a long way since that time, but I'm certain that the pride, the energy, the professionalism and the commitment which would have ensured success in those challenging times are just as evident today. Brothers and sisters, I am proud to have been a teacher, to have had in a career spanning almost 30 years the opportunity to influence thousands of lives and to be molded and tempered by the myriad interactions and experiences at the Wim and Roxborough Anglican primary schools and at the then Scarborough Junior Secondary and Signal Hill Senior Comprehensive Schools. This is a profession that keeps on rewarding, and over the decades, I have been gratified and uplifted by the number of my former charges whom I have met and who have expressed their gratitude for my influence on their lives. And let me state here that any success which I might have had as a politician can be linked to the lessons learned as a teacher. It was teaching that prepared me to serve and to lead, to cope with conflicting demands, to wrestle with seemingly insurmountable challenges, to endure stinging criticisms, to remain confident despite my failures, and humble even at the peak of my accomplishments. Brothers and sisters, I have reached a point in my life where I have given myself observer status, and from that vantage point, I must express my admiration for today's teachers. It is a different world. I will not entertain in those circumstances any profound advice, and I will also resist the temptation to comment on your laudable theme, designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. However, as I conclude, I must posit that even though the environment might have been transformed, there are certain elements that have not changed and certain attributes that must still define you as a good teacher. Whether your major tool is a textbook or a computer, you still need to be caring, to be sensitive, to to like your job. And most importantly, you really need to like people, especially the little people, if you intend to continue contributing at optimal levels. Ladies and gentlemen, Teachers Get Together is also about introspection. And I'm certain that many of you will take the opportunity to contemplate on the past, the struggles and the triumphs, the missteps and the achievements. So as you reflect on that past and contemplate the future, I urge you, do not be too disheartened. Do not make the mistake, as I did at times, of focusing only on what you would like to do but cannot. Continue, as most of you are doing, to recognize your power, to embrace your responsibility, and to be guided by that adage, do the best you can with what you have, wherever you are, and do it now. Remember, my friends, that the future of our nation is not only in the school bags of our children, but in the hands of our teachers. Once again, my sincerest thanks for this honor. Have a successful get-together, and may it energize and inspire all the teachers involved. Best wishes, and stay strong.
Thank you, and congratulations, Mr. London, on well-deserved honor. And indeed, you have led with the tongue of a statesman and the touch of the common man. Congratulations, well done, and we wish you every success in the future. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we could not have the Tobago Teachers Get Together, an event so germane to the Tobago community, and not showcase our indigenous culture. So at this point, let's do what we do best. Let's just sit back, rock back, and enjoy a speech band's delight. And it is so fitting that we are calling upon the WIM Anglican Speechifiers, which of course was Mr. London's former school. So let's turn over to WIM Anglican Speech Band.
Virtually, you know, the COVID thing straight up all over. And now our country come together. So tune listen, plus plenty laughter. And if you start choking, drink some water. Try your blow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, ahai, 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 oh ha. And shut your blow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, hi, it's straight now. Teachers come together. Though that's thankful for the efforts of the organizers. They're fed up of this virtual ceremony thing. They say they want to meet in person, down by school feeding. You see, when online something to note, you don't get no kind of food to toast. Drag your ball, Mr. Fiddler. Ahai, oh ha, ahai, oh ha, ahai, oh ha, ahai, oh ha. Stop your ball, Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, hi. Today, TUTA honors the retirees who have so far and wide in the community. We salute and celebrate all of them. Hard-working ladies and committed gentlemen, some of them have you written all over. Can't believe that they meet the age to retire to keep our year looking young and healthy. I hope they start working on all the gratuity. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, ahai, oh ha, ahai, oh ha, ahai, oh ha. Stop your bow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, hi. Birdie tell me October is TUTA election. All and sundry, I look for position. But I come to give all your teachers a word. does be wolf pretending to be sheep. Make sure you make the right choice for your president. Somebody who can agitate, speedy processing, but all your increments. Drag your ball, Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, 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 oh ha, ha, oh ha, oh Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, ha. I have a message for the CPO and Finance Minister. If it's 2% he giving with teachers, let him know. Cause you don't see prices all over and haywire. They can't even buy gas, chicken, or flour. They want teachers to perform so many roles, but the cost of living is out of control. Teachers all over the country, real scrumpty. Imagine some teachers lining up with children to get school feeding. Drag your ball, Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, 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 oh ha, 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 oh ha, 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 oh ha, 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 oh ha, ha, oh Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, hi, Mr. Orville London, a man after my own heart, a true icon who for Tobago really played a part. It's a pity he never trained some of them young onions on the scene nowadays. The man was a boss in action, thoughts, and what he used to say. A man of stature, he never discriminates, and he never reached no functionally. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh ha, 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 oh ha, 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 oh ha, 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 oh ha. Oh, Mr. Fiddler, oh ha, hi. Well, dear teachers, we have to depart. We hope I hear the advice we impart. Words of wisdom coming from the youth is really to pick me, not afraid to tell the truth. Don't think this country gone haywire. We depending on all of you teachers to design the future. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, ha, oh, ha, ha, oh, ha, oh, ha.
Oh, hi. Hearty, hearty thanks to the Wim Anglican speechifiers. Thank you. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, I have yet another pleasurable task to perform. I would like to introduce you to someone who has been at the forefront of the organization for the past 3 years. A formidable leader, she is Miss Antonio de Freitas, the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, and she will address us at this point. The president speaks.
Comrades, I bring you greetings this morning on this, the occasion of the Tobago Teachers Get Together 2022. Today marks another milestone in the history of education in Tobago. Many years ago, when the forefathers conceptualized the Tobago Teachers Get Together, it was with the aim of not only bringing teachers together in a social setting, but also to create a professional body to allow a forum for professional discourse on pedagogical matters. The dream of creating such a think tank with expertise from Tobago education professionals has flourished and grown over the years, and this is an excellent example of what can be achieved if teachers really cooperate and collaborate. Permit me to quote one of the famous sons of Tobago, Mr. Orville Carrington, who said, "Tobago has the ability to lead the way in educational progress because it's small enough to introduce new ideas and methodologies and independent enough to implement them." He continued, "Trinidad can learn a lot from Tobago," end quote. Now, I recall some years ago when the Division of Education introduced a practice of paying an acting allowance equivalent to the difference between the salaries of the teacher 1 and the assistant teacher primary salary to teachers who had successfully completed their teacher training. This allows the teacher to enjoy their correct salary while saving the Division of Education the headache of having to find a lump sum of money to pay teachers later on. That's the kind of innovation that was being spoken of by Mr. Carrington. This principle of paying an acting allowance has been put into an argument by TUTA on behalf of teachers in Tobago who are awaiting upgrade to the position of Teacher 1. Indeed, TUTA has taken this issue as a grievance to the Minister of Finance to be sent to the special tribunal. The precedent was set years ago, and we are utilizing that precedent in the hope of a resolution on this matter. Additionally, as I speak to you this morning, I would just want to highlight a few issues that would be engaging the attention of the association. There are issues with the curriculum with guidance officers who are based in Tobago. These members are being told that they are not traveling officers and they will not be treated like their counterparts in Trinidad. This means that they won't be considered as traveling officers and therefore lose the benefit of a 40% tax exemption on the purchase of a vehicle. They will not have motor vehicle upkeep allowance, and their traveling allowance will be calculated under Regulation 16. Now, the last time I checked, we lived in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and we belong to one teaching service. It means then that for parity, a guidance officer in Tobago is the same as a guidance officer in Trinidad, and a curriculum officer in Tobago is the same as a curriculum officer in Trinidad. The terms and conditions are the same. This too, the union has taken to the Ministry of Finance to be sent to the special tribunal. As we continue as a union to develop our terms and conditions of employment for all of our members, I give you the guarantee that no one will be left behind. TUTA is only stronger if everyone is involved and if we are all singing from the same songbook. Together we are strong, but singly we are just a whimper. Having had the privilege and the honor to serve as the first female president of TUTA, I want to boast of another title, if you will permit me. I am the only president in TUTA who has had to deal with surviving and addressing all of the issues surrounding a pandemic, whilst at the same time having to defend the rights and the welfare of teachers. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us just how resilient we are as a people and as a body of professionals. Since March 2020, your union and your president have been at the forefront of the battle to ensure that the terms and conditions of employment of all our members are not infringed upon, and that the employer does not take advantage of us. I recall attending a meeting with the then Minister of Education, Mr. Anthony Garcia, former president of this great union. At that meeting, Mr. Garcia, wearing his other hat, sitting on the other side of the table, proposed that 2 weeks of the teachers' vacation would be taken away and teachers would come out to work during the vacation period to prepare students for their exams. Now, while some persons were willing to accede to this imposition because they thought it would make TUTA look good, as your president, I had to remind Mr. Garcia that under his stewardship in TUTA in 1987, TUTA won in the High Court of Trinidad and Tobago a judgment that said, the vacation of the students is the vacation period of the teachers, and that the employer cannot unilaterally interfere with the result. With that, the result was teachers and principals who came out to work during the August vacation in 2020 were subsequently compensated for it. At this time, I want to commend the members of the Tobago district who, during the height of the pandemic and during the closure, the lockdown as we termed it, really and truly rallied together as a district to serve their members and to serve their communities in one way or another to bring relief and redress and comfort. Congratulations to the district. This pandemic has been tough, with closures, unfortunately with deaths, and with many other challenging circumstances. But we soldiered on. TUTA as a body has had to adapt and recreate itself. But as we all know, there's always a silver lining under the dark clouds. The pandemic has enabled the association to save close to $1 million because many of the usual activities either had to be stopped or done virtually. For example, a conference of delegates, which would normally cost about $400,000, was held successfully online in 2020 and in 2021, saving TUTA considerable amounts of money. Another upside of the pandemic, and to me this is more significant, was that as we had meetings being held virtually, we saw increased participation by members at General Council meetings, with some meetings having as many as upward of 500 members at times. Our town hall meetings were quite successful as well, being attended by as many as 800 plus members, and unfortunately still having persons who wanted to join but could not. Now, all that is being said because we have to consider whether or not we really want to go back to full activities, or whether we can have certain meetings be done virtually, especially when we have to consider that some members do not live close to the meeting place, or they have various caregiver or family responsibilities. As we continue throughout the pandemic, the president of TUTA, representing the views of members, responded to all the negative comments and criticisms being thrown at us. And this included a public threat made to the physical safety of the president by a radio talk show host, not to mention those threats that we received via email. Even within TUTA, there were attacks by persons who believed that persons, perhaps maybe a female president, should not be speaking certain truths and standing up to certain things. But I will say something, colleagues. Because we are resilient as educators, and because we have faith in God, as I do, these attacks did not faze your president, and she continued to stoutly defend every position taken by the General Council, internally and externally in the media. As the then third vice president of CUT and now as the first vice president, we have represented the views of members with CXC, with COSHOT and the ministers of education. And your voice was heard as far as UNESCO when we discussed the issue of the timing of the administration of the CXC's examinations. The reality is that when we have small victories such as these, we must talk about them. We must be proud of them because they are victories that we have achieved as a collective. And therefore, as such, I want to applaud all education professionals of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, colleagues, we are aware that COVID-19 has not left some of us unscathed. Our families have suffered. We have suffered. Some of us have suffered and recovered wholeheartedly. Some of us are on the way to recovery. I want to say or to remind all of us that becoming ill, especially if it's something that you can recover from, is not a death sentence. And that is something that persons should be maligned for. And that includes the president. We are all strong. We are all fighters. And we are here to continue fighting for the welfare and the well-being of our members. Comrades, we are now in a battle with the employer, and it's a battle we must win. While our method of developing the salaries for our teachers is different from that of other trade unions, the quest for a respectable wage is the same, and the attempt by the employer class, as we say, to suppress salaries is steadfast. And as we've learned a long time ago, many of us recognize numbers and statistics can be manipulated to person's advantage. The market survey line is that optimum salary for teachers. Rest assured, we will do all that we can to get as close to that line as possible. And I want to urge you, the reality is it's not going to be easy for us to achieve that. Therefore, we must all be ready for battle, and that what lies ahead for us will be challenging. But I do believe if we lend support to one another, and we stand with our union, we will prevail. To the retirees of Tobago who are being honored today, I extend my heartfelt congratulations. You have fought and you have taught and you have supported your union in thick and thin. And for this, we say thank you. The people of Tobago say thank you. The country of Trinidad and Tobago says thank you. Enjoy your retirement. You deserve it. To the icon being honored today, Mr. Orville London, you represent all that is the best of education in both Trinidad and Tobago. We salute you. On this anniversary of the Tobago Teachers Get Together, when we recognize the genesis of the organization and we look to the future, it epitomizes what it means to be part of something that is great. And as it is great, it grows. And as we always say within TUTA, what is good for teachers is good for the education system in our country. Long live TUTA. Best wishes for a successful Professional Development Day 2022.
Mr. Freitas, thank you for your leadership. Thank you as well for your valiant efforts of both you and the Team TUTA, ensuring the safety, the security, and the welfare in general of teachers in both Tobago and in Trinidad. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are counting down, and at this time I have the final list of prizes. I'm going to repeat the names of those that have not collected or have not given us the relevant information yet, and then I will announce finally the Know Your Tutor segment. So here goes. Again, calling on door prizes winners: Kaya Sena Hippolyte, Gabriella Campbell-Pert, Deshelle Dumas, Lorenzia Taylor-Thomas, Stacy Fraser, Michelle Jack, Stacy Jones-Charles, Olmal Gordon-Holder, Stacy Sylvester, Lisa Mendoza, Cyan Blackman-Walsh. And the door prizes, the segment 3, the winners, the lucky winner on Zoom, Latoya Baker, and the lucky winner, YouTube, the first to give the correct answer, Khalifa Hislop. So Latoya Baker and Khalifa Hislop, you join the list of lucky winners. And finally, the Know Your Tutor segment winners: Latoya Baker, Scarborough Secondary School; Naomi Phillips Johnson, Blackrock Government Primary School; and Daniel Hector George, Monson George Methodist Primary School. Please remember that all prizes may be collected at this evening's After Work Lime Reset 2022. They may also be collected at Tutor's office from Tuesday, 21st June 2022, and I urge you again to please kindly complete the valuation forms. Thank you so much. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we near the end of what I know has been an absolutely stimulating and intellectual experience today, as good Tobagonians, as good Christians, as good citizens of this beautiful nation of ours, we know that in all things we give thanks. And so it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Dion Rodriguez, the chairman of TUTA Tobago District, and he will deliver the vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good afternoon. Mr. Dion
Energy, Mr. Orlando Kerr, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Antonia Tika de Freitas, former Chief Secretary and Icon 2022, Mr. Orville London, Administrator of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Ms. Shelley Trim, School Supervisor 3, Ms. Shelley Rollocks-Hackett, feature speaker, Ms. Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel, Ms. Eka McPhee, representative of TUTA districts, chairman of the retiree sections of TUTA, Ms. Jeneline Cyril, Tobago district representative of the Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Cindy Ramnarine, Mr. Joseph Lindo, President of National Parent Teachers Association, Tobago Region, President of Tobago Primary Schools Principals Association, Ms. Cindy Lord, Tobago District Retirees 2021 to 2022, Mr. Ruston Joel, physiotherapist, teachers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good afternoon, sorry. It's one saying says, the wonderful and elegant things in life cannot be seen or touched. One of them is thank you, which must be seen with the heart. It is my privilege this afternoon to have a chance to propose or give the vote of thanks for this prestigious event called the Professional Development and Awards Function of our retirees, as well as all other 82nd Tobago Teachers Get-Together related activities. I would like to thank Mr. Reed and the New Lens Studio for facilitating today's activities, as well as our ecumenical service, so that we can have a smooth, high-quality virtual program. We pray your basket be continually filled as work comes to your business. Ms. Wendy Ann Gibbons-George, we thank you for the tutor prayer and facilitating that minute of silence. I pray you continue to prosper in all you set your hands to accomplish. Again, thank you from your tutor family. To our beloved Tobago officer, Mr. Braden Roberts, we thank you for your greetings and introduction of our chairperson. We pray continued wisdom and strength as you continue to advocate for our Tobago teachers and all teachers of this nation by extension at the national level as well as at the level of the division. To everyone that brought greetings, Ms. Cindy Lord from TUPSPA, Ms. Cindy Ramnarine from APS, Ms. Eka McPhee, tutor representative, Ms. Shelley Trim, administrator of the Division of Education, Research and Technology. We say thank you. Thanks for that inspiring poem, Mr. Len Sassy. We are quaking and taking and making a difference. I hope that that poem really reminds us as teachers that we are truly catalysts of change in the lives that we encounter. Thank you, Ms. Zorisha Hackett, Secretary of the Division of Education, Research and Technology, for your warm greetings. It was a pleasure to have you among us this morning amidst your busy schedule. We pray for your continued wisdom and strength as you manage the business of education on our lovely island of Tobago. We thank Ms. Brebner, Ms. Paria, Mrs. Richardson Thomas, and Mrs. Grant for the wonderful liturgical dance. Indeed, our world need him right now. We cannot make it without connecting to our superior being in whom we receive guidance, strength, assurance, and comfort. I pray your lives continue to impact others with the talents that you possess. From your tutor family, we say thank you for blessing our hearts this morning. Managing back pain. How do we sit as teachers? Mr. Ruston Wood, we say thank you very much for that help corner. Indeed, your information shared has been beneficial and would be beneficial to many of us teachers as we assume the correct posture, whether it be in the staff room or in the classroom or even at home. So again, we say thank you to Mr. Ruston Wood for that health corner. We want to thank Ms. Jenny Lynn Cyril for bringing greetings on behalf of the retiree section and setting the tone for that aspect of our function today, the awarding of our retirees and Icon 2022. Ms. Vita Jack, we thank you for your response on behalf of our retirees. Thanks for reminding us that we must be beacons and to teach the students we are charged with and not the ones we would like to have or the ones we used to have. We say thank you and may the Almighty continue to bless you and by extension, all of our retirees and Icon 2022. We want to thank all the officers of TUTA, both appointed and elected, for being part of this morning's professional development workshop and awards function. We say thank you, thank you, thank you for being in our midst this morning. Ms. Bruno, for that spoken word piece, we say thank you. Your words were indeed inspiring. To our featured speaker, Ms. Deborah Jean-Baptiste Samuel, words cannot express our gratitude for the level of delivery that you have given us this morning. Designing the future you want to live in, making a difference together. Design creates culture, culture shapes value, and values determine the future. You spoke about the importance of our spiritual being. You spoke about the importance of us embracing technology, the importance of us as teachers encouraging each other, boosting each other's self-esteem. I think that was the highlight. Rest, nutrition, relaxation, having that physical and spiritual nutrition. But to sum it all up, your signature work is what you design. Ms. Deborah Jean-Baptiste, we say thank you this morning for your labor of love and for inspiring our teachers as we move on to another academic year very soon, being fully charged and understanding that the responsibility is with us to design the future we want to live in. We want to thank the Wim Anglican School and their speech band for that lovely rendition and for blessing our hearts. Yes, no food to tote, but I say those days soon return. Message for the CPO. Indeed, teachers don't want to be eating school food. Wim Anglican School speechifiers, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. To our president, our hard-working president, Ms. Antonia Tika de Freitas, we thank you for informing us, we thank you for encouraging us, and we thank you for assuring us that the battle ahead is in good hands as you continue to represent the association at this time. We want to thank all the retirees and Icon for making themselves available so that today we can have the level of success that we have. Without you, it would have been virtually impossible for us to have today's event. So we say thank you to our retirees for making yourselves available. And to our Icon, former Chief Secretary, former teacher, former tutor member, we say par excellence, a servant leader, as one would have said. We say thank you very much for bestowing upon us your words of wisdom, your words of encouragement, and continue for your continuously making yourself available to tutor and making your contributions felt. blessing upon your life. To your tutor be true. We want to thank Miss Zelma Cowie, our chairperson for this morning. It was indeed a delight to have you in our presence. It was indeed wonderful to hear your voice yet another time as you chair this morning's proceedings with the level of excellence that only you can do. So we thank you for continuing to offer yourself and your level of volunteerism to the association. To Ms. Zelma Cowie, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And we look forward to working with you again in the future. But all of this could not have been a success without individuals working tremendously hard in the background. And I want to publicly highlight our secretary or district secretary, Ms. Chanel Guy, who would have been the main coordinator of all the 82nd Tobago Teachers Get Together events. She would have been the coordinator, of the overall coordinator of all those events. And we see a special thank you to Ms. Guy, but she would have been directly responsible for today's professional development and awards function. And we say thank you for a job well done. Thank you for displaying continually that spirit of excellence. And from your tutor family, we say thank you. Thank you is also in order to Mrs. Tia Morrison-Roberts for coordinating and leading the team for our ecumenical service, which took place on the 5th of June, 2022. We say thank you to that entire team. And thank you to all the ministers that would have participated to ensure that that event was a success. So to Ms. Tia Morrison-Roberts and the entire team, we say thank you, thanks a million. On Saturday the 11th, we had our webinar, and that webinar was facilitated by 3 distinguished individuals: Mr. Peter Wilson, former General Secretary of TUTA, Ms. Ruthlyn Antoine, former Tobago officer, and Ms. Umelta Roberts Jofield, former icon of TUTA. They did an exceptional job, and that was facilitated using the Tobago Updates platform. And we thank you for the information that has been shared in that webinar. And I encourage individuals, if you want to have a sense of your association, if you want to get a sense as to the history of your association, get the YouTube link for that webinar and have a look at it. It promises to be a very, very informative video for you to participate in. At this time, I would also like to thank Mr. Jarrell Armstrong. Mr. Armstrong and his team were responsible for the marketing aspect, all the marketing aspects of the 82nd Tobago Teachers Get Together. Those lovely flyers that you would have seen and those videos that you would have seen, Mr. Armstrong was responsible along with his team. In addition, I'd like to publicly thank Mr. Alistair Adams of the Signal Hill Secondary School for assisting in editing some of the videos, both for the webinar and other motivational videos. So we say thank you very, very much for your labor of love towards this event. As indicated earlier by our chairperson, this evening we have Reset 2020. It has been over 2 years that teachers have not culminated in come together in one space. And this evening we have our cooler line. Bring your cooler, come, let's sit and have a time of relaxation. You heard what the FITIA speaker said. There must be time for relaxation. There must be time for rejuvenation. And we invite each and every teacher present here on the live, come out this evening so that we can have a wonderful time. And it will be remiss of me if I don't thank our hardworking Miss Benwa Hackett and her entire team for putting together our after work line this afternoon. So we would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your labor of love. It is indeed a privilege. We would also like at this time to thank all our sponsors. You're going to see them coming up on your screen. We want to thank all our sponsors at this time, those that would have sponsored door prizes and different aspects of our 82nd Tobago Teachers Get Together. We say thank you very, very much for your contributions. And most of all, we want to thank the Division of Education, Research and Technology, who was our main sponsor. We say thank you very much for your contributions. Colleagues, it was indeed a blessed day. But I want to also encourage you, as we indicate, we have this afternoon as well our cooler line. But in addition to that, this Sunday, the 19th of June, is a very, very special day for all unions and all individuals. It was the 19th of June, 1937, when Mr. Tubal Uriah Bus Butler decided that he is going to address his workers. And at that time, he was invaded by the police. 14 persons were killed. 59 individuals were wounded, and many individuals were arrested because they stood for the rights and the rights of workers. They stood in a position to say, listen, as workers, we deserve our just due. And this year, as you know, TUTA is a part of JTAM. And this year, JTAM has asked, you know, as teachers, some of you will be well aware that teachers usually journey to Faizabad so that we can participate in the Labor Day celebration in Trinidad. But JTAM, the body in which we are part of, has asked that the teachers in the Tobago space engage in the Labor Day march together with our comrades NATOC. And this Sunday, that starts at 9 a.m. We start at the Gold City Mall, and we make our way to the Scarborough Esplanade. And I want to encourage teachers. I want to encourage teachers. We are living in a day and age now that you need your union more than ever. And even more so, we need to show that level of solidarity. So once you have decided that you want to be a part, and I encourage everyone to be a part, there is a Google form. Contact your staff rep, contact your zonal conveners, and fill out that form, because we want to make proper preparation for all teachers that will be participating in this year's Labor Day march, because we don't want you to just come and march and go back home. We want to ensure that we can refresh you as a good trade union would. So teachers, this Sunday, get the form and sign up to come out. We look forward to seeing you this Sunday in our Labor Day march, as we show solidarity, as we show strength for the various issues that confront our teachers in not only the Tobago space, but Trinidad and Tobago by extension. So again, teachers, I thank you for joining us this morning on behalf of each and every member of the executive member of the Tobago district, on behalf of the staff reps that work so tirelessly in the vineyard. We say thank you very, very much for being with us this morning and sharing this time of our 82nd Tobago Teachers Get Together. And at this time, I invite you to participate as we engage in our TUTA anthem.
shoulder, cause we outside from long time, yeah. Now 5, yeah. Oh Lord, Trini love the party. We go pay but we love it when it's free. Good food and drinks in a cooler. Put the party on my shoulder, cause we outside from long time, yeah. Now 5, yeah. Oh Lord, Trini love the party. We go pay but we love it when it's free. Good food and drinks in a cooler. Put the party on my shoulder, cause we outside from long time, yeah. Now 5, yeah. Oh Lord, Trini love the party. We go pay but we love it when it's free. Good food and drinks in a cooler. Put the party on my shoulder, cause we outside from long time, yeah. Now 5, yeah. Oh Lord, Trini love the party. We go pay but we love it when it's free. Good food and drinks in a cooler. Put the party on my shoulder, cause we outside from long time, yeah. Now 5, yeah. Oh Lord, Trini love the party. We go pay but we love it when it's free. Good food and drinks in a cooler. Put the party on my shoulder, cause we outside from long time, yeah. Now 5, yeah. Oh Lord, Trini love the party. We go pay but we love it when it's free. Good food and drinks in a cooler. Put the party on my shoulder, cause we outside from long time, yeah. Now 5, yeah. Oh Lord, Trini love the party. We go pay but we love it when it's free. Good food and drinks in a cooler. Put the party on my shoulder, cause we outside